Is it working? Is it loading? Is it going live?
We're
live!
Oh no.
Okay. This is poorly timed
There we go.
start. Okay. There we go.
Oh, we have a guest. Hello.
Hello. Okay. So, this is Tyne, Mr. Alarming on TikTok. I'm Jasper,
Well, what's your
his best friend.
What's your YouTube name?
Hello, Tyne.
Oh, well,
This is the person my YouTube channel is named after.
Hi.
And we are both writers. Happy Halloween, by the way. Happy Halloween, the best holiday.
Yes.
So today, the last day of October, we're going to finish off Preptober and talk about our plots for Nano.
NaNoWrimo is National Novel Writing Month. It is the span of November in which lots of people set out to go write a book in 30 days, and once upon a time that would have been really easy for me, but I'm going to struggle a lot this year because I have adult responsibilities now. And so we're here to talk about stuff. We used to live in the same place.
And now we do again.
Now he lives on the floor of my apartment.
Right here. I sleep right here.
Because he ran away to Japan, and now he's back.
I'm back.
And so since we're in the same place together, we're going to try to write books again and compete and participate at National Novel Writing Month.
So, Tyne, you've done National Novel Writing Month before. How did that go? Cat.
I've done National Novel Writing Month every year for like 6 years. I won most of the time, but the last couple years I haven't because I've been living life in the less exciting ways, like being an adult and being in school and stuff. But I wrote a 9-book series, and now I want to finally write the last book, the 10th one, that I'm super excited about. And I already started writing it and then ruined it. And so I'm starting over for National Novel Writing Month. And that's Jasper's helped me for years to write all of my books. And so none of them would have been written had I not known him.
I'm the plot king. That's my role in life.
Who used to be able to write hundreds of thousands of words in a week.
So Tyne can write a lot super quickly.
If I know what I'm doing. But the problem is most of the time I don't know what I'm doing.
And I know what I'm doing. And I am the person who reads lots of books about plotting and writing and stuff and then never actually sits down. Well, I sit down and write. I've written a couple of novels. I've won Camp NaNoWrimo in July twice. And then I haven't really won National Novel Writing Month, the official one, because November always sucks for me. Everything always comes up. Everything always happens.
November's a dark month. Hello, TikTok people. My phone is sitting far enough away that I can vaguely see that you're commenting, but because of how we have it set up, I can't actually read most of them, but I will glance at it occasionally. This is a live stream where I won't be able to answer questions about ghosts as much because that's not necessarily the topic of it, because we've been wanting to...
I'm live streaming on YouTube down there on my laptop, and Tyne's streaming on TikTok up there. So I'm probably looking down there, and Tyne's probably looking up here, and it's going to be pretty awkward.
Because we have our audiences. But I guess if you guys want me to read your comment, put it in all caps, and I can actually read that from here. So, but yeah, this live stream is going to be more about writing, less about ghosts, which is a little different than what my live streams usually are, because I'm in my apartment, not in a haunted building. I did try to see if my apartment was haunted before this, and since we're on the second story of a low-income student housing, there's not...
I'm the only person haunting it.
Yeah.
I'm the ghost that's sneaking around, not supposed to be here.
I am good. How are you today, follower whose name I cannot read from here? But I hope you guys are having a good Halloween. Halloween is good.
All right. So, Tyne, are you a pantser or plotter? Do you sit down and plot out everything you want to write, or just start writing it?
Well, I have tried both.
Mm-hmm.
I think pantsing has never ended well for me.
Okay.
So I guess I would be a plotter because I like to have like a basic roadmap. And then if I have enough general bullet points, I can usually pants in between.
Okay.
And then that's fine because it leaves room for spontaneity. But also, I don't get lost or derail or write bad books like I have done before.
I've definitely written a lot of bad books while pantsing. So I prefer plotting a lot more now.
Somebody's asking about your shirt.
A shirt?
Yeah, he has a really cool shirt. If he had his phone in it, the eyes would come to life.
And they glow and they change, and it's cool looking.
I think it's concerning.
It's cool.
So Jasper, what book are you going to work on this year?
I'm going to work on, actually, you named this novel a while ago, and I just never actually wrote it. Operation Good Orderly Defeat, Operation God.
Oh, yes.
Do you know the name of the book you're going to be writing?
Yeah, it's called Purelo Nox. Purelux Nox, depending on how you want to pronounce it, whether it's French or not French. But yeah, Purelo Nox.
Which is in your Infinite book series.
It's the last one.
Uh-huh.
It's the 10th book in my book series called the Vow series, and
it starts with
no.
Well,
this book isn't related to that series at all. This is the book I actually published that some of my TikTok people have gotten, and thank you so much if you have. I've been tagged in a few videos about you getting them that I haven't been able to duet yet, but I promise I will soon. I try to do them all at once so that my channel just has a block of duets and then a block of original content and a block of duets. So it's not just sort of all mixed. I don't know. But yeah, this is the one I have published. It's ghosty because it's Halloween, and it's called Algernon's Anomaly. And it's about a ghost tour guide, which is also one of my jobs, and who ends up in a vortex and is very haunted and has to figure out what to do about it while simultaneously totally not falling in love with the main character, who's an edgy drama llama. Oh, you want to buy the book, but you can't find it? If you are in the United States, it should just be on Amazon, and it should be available on all Amazon stores, the digital and the hard copy, or the paperback. And the spelling of it is in my bio. So if you're having problems spelling Algernon, because that's a weird word, weird name, you can look for it there. If you want to comment on one of my videos that is in the live stream so I can find you again later, I could direct message you about it if you need help finding it. Yeah. So this one's unrelated to the book I'm writing today.
Well, it's still tied into your whole story world. So Tyne has the interesting situation with Nano to have a story world to keep in line with.
Yeah, that's the problem with this book, is that it is the 10th book in a lot of books, and so I have to keep things consistent because it is the pinnacle of a 10-book series where everything theoretically ties back together and is resolved. That's just a lot more difficult to do than I had originally intended or assumed. I thought it'd be a lot easier than it is, and that always seems to be my problem.
Do you have your whole story world written down anywhere, or do you just have it all in your head?
I have it in books, and then I have to go back and look in my books and be like, what did this character know about this thing? And then the same event is described in 3 different books, so I have to go and try to keyword search this event in 3 different books to understand what character saw what. And that's always good, because the narrator of my book, the one I'm working on for Nano, in life had his eyes slashed out in a very horrible fight scene. And when he died and became sort of like a mortal trapped in this limbo world, he can see again. But I was trying to figure out what the last thing he saw before his eyes were slashed out. And so that event's in 3 books by 3 different narrators from 3 different areas of that situation. And so I had to go and keyword search all of those situations to try to figure out the answer to my question. This is Ferdinand.
Nan.
It's my cat.
It's Nan for Nano.
Nan for Nano. He's an old orange cat. He
This
throws
is
up a lot.
the only way you're actually ever going to be able to complete NaNoWrimo is if you have a cat that will sit on your lap and make it so that you have to write every day. That's what I've discovered. You have to live in a place with cats. So I have a notebook that I write stuff for my book in.
Oh, that's a good idea. I try to make a cool thing for this book. I don't know where the notebook went, but I did like bullet journal style note things. I made a video about it on my TikTok, but it didn't go well. I had to restart twice because I kept messing up the plot on it. So that's sort of how this book is going so far. Is I had to delete 10,000 words because it's not going well.
And for me, my book, I originally started with a character that I really wanted to write, and then it kind of fell apart. I was thinking of the novel while I was at a job that I really didn't like, and I kept basing the start around this job that I didn't like, and kept rewriting it. Do you know the novel that I'm talking about, Operation Good Orderly Defeat?
I think so.
With Fauna Rue, because it's a fun name to say.
I don't know if is it the one where they're like taken to the assassin thing, and there's like this team where they have to like fight this sort of assassination classroom style teacher
kind of
thing.
Yes. So
Yeah.
Lucifer sends monsters down to Earth, and then God hand selects a few people to defeat these monsters, is like the thing that I came up with originally, but it's a really weak premise. And see, here's what I've studied, what I've learned while I'm looking at books that I'm reading is the premise has to be good enough on the back cover for me to pick up the book, and then the characters have to be good enough for me to actually read the book, because then once I start reading it, I no longer care about the premise and just start caring about the characters. You don't read very much.
No. I should read more. I can't tell you the last book I read. That wasn't one of my own while editing it, which is a bad thing. You should read more.
Mm-hmm.
I just work 3 jobs and try to write sometimes.
Do you have a premise for the novel you're going to be writing?
Yes. Oh,
Yes.
Premise what like
premise that doesn't give away spoilers.
Well, the main character is named Lux, and Lux is present throughout my whole book series, and he facilitates taking over the world in an attempt to kill all of the problem people, basically destroy the world so that it can rebuild without the previous hindrances it once had. And he managed to do this by the time he was 17 because he came from a long, like, crime family. And he wanted to be the best one that there ever was, and no one could ever stand up to him. And so he did that, and he destroyed the world, and he died in the process. But throughout the story world in all of my books, there are little cursed wooden objects that came from one tree a long time ago, where a witch was hanged from that tree, and he cursed it, and so all of the objects that came from that tree held various magical properties. And throughout the book series, they've popped up and caused havoc and whatnot. And if you've made a contract with one of these objects, when you die, you get sent to this white abyss where you just hang out, and your life force is what, or like your energy is what supplies the power for all the things. So this character is in this abyss because he had a contract with an object. And the premise of the story is him breaking out of the abyss, trying to help the witch try to get all the objects in one place so he can put his soul back together, so he can finally move on and stop breaking the fabric of space-time. So there you go.
I see. All right.
He's trying to help a witch. And then fall in love with that witch, because while he was one of my only straight characters, if you were a narrator, you were no longer straight. Poor Lux. But it's okay.
So then, when you're writing a novel, when you're plotting, do you think of scenes or situations first, or do you just start thinking like, okay, here's the plot?
I flounder. That's what I do.
Yeah, okay.
At least for this book, I know I have a couple scenes, like auras of scenes I want.
Okay.
Like, he's spent so long in this perpetual abyss that the witch uses his powers to be like, hey, I'm going to revive you. So you're going to be alive again, and you're going to have to go find all these objects in the living world. And so a lot of it's like the sensations he hasn't felt for 25 years.
Okay.
Like the wind and the sun and the stuff.
So for you, plotting might look like making the list of different situations to put him in?
Yeah, because I don't really have any climactic event thought out. I don't know where everyone's going to end, because one of two things is going to happen, whether he usurps the empty throne, because it also ties in with my other story world where God's dead. They killed God on accident.
Nihilism.
And someone needs to be the new God, and it needs to be the most powerful person in the thing. And the most powerful person's that witch guy. But the witch guy doesn't want to be God. He wants to die. I don't know.
Okay,
So that's where I'm at. Is that maybe they'll become God or maybe not? Who knows?
So how much do you want to have figured out before Nano?
Most of it.
Most of it?
Yeah.
And today's the last day before Nano.
Yeah.
So
at least I want to have the first half figured out, and I can figure out the rest as I go along. But I was writing the first third of it, and then I started the story in the wrong spot, and so I just had to get rid of it. And now I have the prologue, which is 4 pages.
Cool. So the way that I tend to write is with scene cards. Scene cards. So like I write out different scenes that I want to incorporate into my novel.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just have to find the line that connects all of the different scenes.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah. So do you know any scenes off the top of your head that you know you want to include without completely spoiling it for your reader base up there?
I don't have enough figured out to spoil anything.
Okay.
But one of the scenes that I thought would be funny was he died at 17, and so he's just been stuck in a 17-year-old body for like 25 years, and he's no longer mentally 17 because time.
Mm-hmm.
But he's going to be yeeted into the living world in a 17-year-old's body, looking the same way he did when he took over the world, and literally everyone saw him do it. So there's going to be an issue where no one's going to take him seriously, and he can't do anything because he's 17. And so the witch is going to use his witch power to just age him up like 6 years.
Okay.
So he looks older, and I just thought that would be funny. And so also the other characters he has to go interact with won't immediately recognize him as this 17-year-old who died 25 years ago. Because he has to go find all his friends who have the objects. And so I just thought him aging up would be funny. And then him being like, you have Gary Stew powers. And the witch being like, yeah. I don't know.
Okay.
That's one scene. And then I have the scene where he's going to be walking somewhere and being like, wow, I forgot the sun felt warm.
Yep.
But I don't have a lot figured out.
And you have your prologue. But do
Yeah.
you know where you start? Or is that your problem?
I think I know where I start now.
Okay.
Because I had the prologue, which is set before a lot of the stuff that sets the stage for because it's always a question throughout the book series whether or not this character ever had one of the magical objects. He's always been searching for them, but no one knows if he ever actually had one. And so he's had one the whole time that did literally nothing to his perspective that he got when he was a little kid. It's a ring, but the ring lets him use all of the other objects without any of the drawbacks associated with them because they're kind of like genies. You get one cool thing, but a bad thing always happens in response. And so that'll be helpful for him when he's trying to get them all, be able to use them. But where it starts is there's the prologue where he gets the item when he's a little kid. But then the next chapter needs to start at the end of the book before, where he's walking away from the narrator of that book, who is his kid, and going into this door that opens up in the wide abyss that's supposedly their happily ever after from the book before, because that was going to be the last book. And I'm like, wait, I didn't tie that up. There's still a big problem. And so he's going to be stepping into that door, and then it's going to transport him to this scene from a long time ago, and he's going to watch the witch's origin story, which has been a question throughout the series, and then try to wake him up out of his like reoccurring nightmare of his origin story, and then figure out that in order to let him rest, you have to go get the objects and then go yeet him out to the living world. And so I have like the first
I have the smallest sneeze.
Chapter somewhat planned out. How about yours?
I have just about the entire plot figured out, but I don't have the like stair-step events that you're supposed to have like specifically decided. More what I'm struggling with is like making it feel like getting a general like feeling for it and like an overarching like this is what I want to say with it.
What you want your message to be?
Not even message, really. It's just like my writing's better when I draw from personal experience, like feelings, not like I was the son of Satan. No, it's like
we all
yeah. I bite popsicles and eat hot chocolate mix dry. So basically, No, it's fine. It's tasty.
It's gross.
So I have 2 different openings, and I have a bunch of different characters, and I think I actually have too many different scenes. So it's almost 2 entirely different novels. That is my current problem.
We have 2 entirely different problems.
Yes.
That's
why
too
we're
much,
that's
I
why
have
we're
nothing.
best friends.
Somebody
I'm here to help
commented
you.
on my stream saying we sound really similar, and
Do
that
we?
is because we have been best friends for over a decade, and that is why we sound
Yeah,
similar.
probably.
So there.
I just do everything that Tyne does and then try to do it better.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And then I
It doesn't
still
always
win.
work. And now I'm here to steal his audience. Come love me.
Somebody's asking to say hello to Maddie. I think that's your name. Hi, Maddie. I can't really read your comments. My phone's so far away that if you're just joining us, if you want me to be able to read your stuff from where I'm sitting, you need to put it in all caps. I know that's obnoxious, but I can't read it very well otherwise without getting all up in Jasper's computer because he's live streaming from right here.
On my
I'm live
YouTube
streaming.
channel that's called Hello Tyne. So
Yes, if you want to go look at his
if
YouTube.
you want to do writer things, I'm
Yeah.
always talking to Tyne in them.
Yeah, he has a writing YouTube channel. I have a ghost TikTok. He also has a TikTok that I am
Barely.
pressuring him to put things on
Yep.
too. So
What I know, Bulkin.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's his name. I did not tag him in this because I'm stupid. But
Thanks.
he's tagged in. I also didn't tag you in that video we filmed together
Oh, really?
just now.
Thanks.
Yeah, I'll put your tag in the comments.
Okay.
But he's tagged in the one about the pumpkin patch, so that's how you can find him.
Thanks.
Yes.
Okay. So book stuff.
Yes.
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 Where do you want to start today? You have your little flower notepad?
I do.
I have my alchemy notebook.
I have flowers.
There's no light in here to show this off with.
Yeah, my apartment, despite having almost every light on.
You're good. You're fine.
Maybe that helped. I don't know. But there's more light. I think that helped. But yeah, are any of you guys participating in NaNoWrimo today? Any of my
Today?
TikTok friends? Like, are
At
you
midnight.
planning? At midnight.
Midnight. That's when Nano starts. At
Is that
midnight. The first time that I wrote 50,000 words in a day was I started at midnight.
Really?
Yeah.
You wrote 50,000 words in a day?
Yeah.
50,000.
5,000. 5,000.
Yeah. Somebody just asked us something. If we start writing by hand or typing first.
Oh, I write out notes by hand, but then I always type them up on my type the entire novel on my computer.
Yeah, I don't write by hand
You
that
used
much.
to.
I used to write exclusively by hand, and that was a mistake. Because those books are still only in those comp books, and I have to entirely rewrite them because I wrote them in middle school, and I've written 2 million words since then in books, so they're bad comparatively. But I usually sometimes write notes. Not only write notes physically as a last resort. I found in the past that when I did that, I killed the book before I wrote it somehow. Like,
Oh, interesting.
some weird. Because I tried that back when we were in early college. I specifically remember trying to write notes for Do Us Part is a novel I
Okay.
wrote, and then it ended up making it even harder to write. And then last time I was struggling with a book, though, was called Graveyard Shift. And that book,
Which you are continuing to struggle with to this
I
day.
know, I finished it, which I thought I'd never do. It took me 2 years of coming back and forth and writing like 3 books in the in-between to finish this dumb book. But now I think the end's too fast, but it's not the point. I wrote out a ton of handwritten notes for that one and ended up helping me extensively finish it. And so I'm going to try to do hand notes again this time. A lot of it's I have to reread sections in the book directly before in order to frame it properly because I don't exactly remember what this character knows and what he doesn't know. Because in my last book, I used him as escape character.
That's an important note.
Because he's like, he knows all these things the main character doesn't know, and how he knows it, I was just like, no,
Yeah.
doesn't matter. he's not the narrator. He will
Uh-huh.
never be a narrator. And then here I am, like 3 years later, being like, who'd be the perfect narrator? That guy. So now, I've really done this to myself. My suggestion for anyone else is to never write a 10-book series. Don't do it.
That's a bad message.
Because
always write 10-book
no.
series. I planned out a 10-book series, and it was super fun to start writing.
People are asking who you are. Well, for people who just joined us, this
Hello.
human is named Jasper J. He is my best friend.
Hello.
He has lived far away from me for a very long time. He went off to college in Chicago and then ran away from his problems in Japan.
For 3 months.
And now he is here living on the floor in my apartment.
I've been Tyne's best friend for over 10 years. Right? Yeah, it's been over 10 years now.
Yes, it has.
I just started TikTok, but I have a YouTube channel, which we're filming down there, and TikTok is up here. And I'm making him talk about his writing because he actually has a book published. So everyone should go buy his book and support him because he deserves it.
It's okay. I need to market better. I don't know how to market things.
I'm marketing for you. Buy his book.
Okay.
This is my marketing.
But I need to market beyond TikTok because they all know about it.
Look, now you're marketing to my YouTube channel. See?
But
Yep.
I need to market on like Amazon, or it's basically a huge supernatural fanfic. Your book is?
Or your book is.
Well, I've never seen Supernatural, so I'd be really shocked if I had any commonalities in it. But oh, you want it for Christmas? That's very sweet of you. I really appreciate y'all. You're very nice to me. But
don't worry, there's 9 more that you're going to be able to buy soon.
well, I should not self-publish them all at once. I would like to get picked up by a legitimate publisher at some point in time so I can get a hardcover version. That'd be cool. Yeah, like that. I want a hardcover book, but I just get the paperback, which is fine. It's still cute. People are asking how we are.
We're good.
We are good. Happy Halloween, y'all.
Happy Halloween.
I hope you guys enjoyed my videos I posted directly before this. My good Halloween costume trend video, because I'm cool.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Okay.
Super cool.
So, are you introducing any new characters in this novel? Or is it all your old characters all together?
I wasn't intending on introducing anybody new. The only person who could be new is, I guess it depends on how many years after the book before this is set, whether it's immediate or a little while later, because at the end of the book before, a character reveals that another character is pregnant, and they're like, oh no, how dare you continue this horrible family line? And like, I know it was an accident. And so now there's the triad has a baby.
Oh no.
The Raven,
Ray,
Alex triad has a baby. And so depending on how many years, there could be a child who's new.
I see.
But I kind of just want to stash that character away for like a potential future book after I'm famous. Yeah.
11th series.
Well, like a spin-off book, because they're all related somehow. But I did NaNoWrimo last year and wrote 13,000 words in 13 chapters. Well, that's
13,000.
cool.
That's super cool.
13,000 words is a good accomplishment.
It's a big accomplishment for most people.
Yeah.
Except for you.
It would be an accomplishment for me now. I used to write like several 100,000 words for each nano, but that was when I didn't do anything else. And
we had school sometimes.
Sometimes, but like I had a lot of time to myself, and I had a bedroom where the door was closed sometimes.
And not someone living in your living room?
Yeah,
except for maybe your brother sometimes?
On the floor. Yeah, no, it's mostly just my jobs and just being an adult and all the things that come with it take a lot of my energy. And so I have been able to really balance things that I enjoy doing, like aside from social interaction with my love and my friends, which I enjoy doing. And
I'm taking up all of his time and keeping him from writing and posting TikToks. Blame me.
I never really see much LGBTQIA representation in books. Yeah, there isn't a lot of rainbow representation in books, and the ones that are usually like erotica stuff, which is
written
stupid.
By, if it's gay, it's usually written by a female author.
A middle-aged lady, usually.
So it's just like fetishized?
Yeah. Yeah, fetishization.
Yeah, that word.
People writing stories about people they do not understand, specifically with the intent to write the spicy scenes, and then just get famous for it, and it's very irritating because then the people like us who are trying to write our own voice representation cannot, like, we don't get the attention in the publishing world that we should, or in the agenting world or anything, because a lot of what, at least gay fiction right now, is written for and by middle-aged women to fetishize gay men, which is gross and it's mean, and we want our books to be out there. But it's hard because, like, we go to the bookstore and every other gay book that's out there that's getting any attention, you'll look on the back and it's a lady who wrote it. And, like, I want people to write what they want to write, but I also want the loudest voices in our genre to be, like, actually, like, queer people,
voices.
or, like, if they're going to write queer romance, then a masculine whatever, like, the representation of their own voice in their writing would be nice on the big stage. Anyway, you asked a question. Just a second. I need to actually read that whole question. I'm gonna get in your way.
Oh no, not my live stream.
How do you like being back during the ghost tours? Well, that's not necessarily book related, but I do enjoy being back with the ghost tours. It is descending into winter though, and so it is getting colder and darker earlier, so that'll be fun. But other than that, it's fun. Okay, so book stuff.
Okay.
We're here to talk about NaNoWrimo. It starts tomorrow because today's the last day.
1,667 words a day, or a whole bunch all at once if you miss a day. So you don't have to do any characterization for your book, but my book is entirely characterization.
I was trying to read comments, but it's hard to see them from here. If you guys want me to see your comments, you should put them in all caps for me so that I can read them from here. That would help me a whole lot.
Probably should have pulled my microphone closer a while ago. I just kind of forgot.
Mic here.
Yes, I'm a fancy human.
I make TikToks. So this is how far I've gone for plotting. Do you see that? I have the name of my book and Nano. There we go.
Cool.
I'm good. I know what I'm doing. I've definitely written 16 novels before. Every time I do it, I still don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
So how do you usually plot?
Suffer.
Yeah.
I'm the worst. I'm sorry.
I usually draw out a specific plot line and then write in events where they need to go in the story structure. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Do you want to do that? Or do you want to do some other version of plotting?
I'll try whatever.
Okay.
I don't really... I'm just unsure. I need to figure out where I want, since, it's not every day that you write a 10-book series, or the last book of a 10-book series. I kind of want to end it the right way, so I think I'm putting some pressure on myself about that.
So you might want to work from the ending to the beginning then.
It would be nice to know where it needs to end, because my bigger decisions are like the character Knox, the witch, who they're trying to put all the pieces back together so that he can move on, falls in love with the narrator, and we're not allowed to have sad gay endings. That's not something, that's a trope that's been done, and a lot of publishers won't publish you if you have sad gay stuff because of that, which is good. So you guys hear that? That's my love screaming from the other room.
Oh, I see. I thought that was one of the cats.
No, that is just Felix. And so, oh no. I need to decide what happens to Knox in relevance to Lux. Because Knox can't just disappear, but that is the only thing he desires. And the whole point of the book is getting himself put back together, because he has like witch powers that have been dispersed over all of these objects throughout the book series. And because he is all taken apart, it's corrupting like the powers. And so he's slowly turning into a monster, and he doesn't want that to happen. And his powers are getting out of hand, and the objects are hurting people and stuff. And so I need to decide whether he becomes God or something else happens, because then I need to write a different book about who becomes
instead of him disappearing. I don't know. He is corrupt throughout the whole thing, right? So couldn't it be him like somehow not desiring to just disappear?
Well, he is corrupting throughout the book series, and an object breaks in one of the books, and usually with the contracts that people have with with the witch objects, is that if something happens to them while you have a contract with them, then you die. But he did not want to kill the person who had the object when it had to be broken in order to break their contract, and so instead he took the backlash from his powers that would have killed the kid who broke the object onto himself, which then shattered him and like destroyed his he was a whole person before that.
I see.
And then in the most recent book, in Graveyard Shift, which I think chronologically is the one right before the one I've written, he again saves somebody, and part of like the biggest part of himself gets banished and gets destroyed, but there's one more piece of him that is locked away in his world, and that's him living in his origin story over and over again. So this main character has to go pluck him from that, and they have to try to, it's sort of like Nox and Shadow Nox that they're fighting, and so they have to destroy Shadow Nox with all of the object powers so that Nox can just be.
Okay.
So I don't know. I just don't know how. I need to come up with more of a plot so that I can make a whole book out of it, because him like going to get the objects is really just him being like placed in the world and meeting all the characters again that are relevant and dragging them all back together into the same place, so that I can also pick, because I have a huge cast of characters from 10 books.
Yep.
Because it's the 10 book series, but then it also dabbles into the 4 other ghost books that exist, because they're all in the same place. And they're all connected by one thing or another, and so
you need to figure out where you want to end up and then who you need in order to get there.
Yes, because I think I need everyone who's associated with a magic object.
It would be pretty cool to do like a Back to the Future and have them running around all of the scenes in your old books where the magic items were used.
Oh no.
Wouldn't that be fun?
Oh no.
That would be so hard.
Okay, so I did think about the time travel thing, because I've done that before in a book.
And I love time travel things.
That was unfortunate. But sorry, I'm trying to read this question. It's all caps. I only get the bottom of it. I'm sorry. You get to see my tattoos. What do you think the best book you wrote? When will you be? Oh, I'll be in the basement next Sunday, I think. That sounds so interesting. What's the name of the book? Oh, well, y'all are sweet. To answer a couple of questions real quick so I don't forget. Best book I've ever written, I think, is either Watch Me or The Price of Pride, 2 of which they're actually not really associated with this book series. Neither of them are published, but Watch Me is about a serial killer and The Price of Pride is about wizard gangs. And then the name of the book I'm currently talking about that you said sounds cool is called Pirolo Nox, and it's the end of my Vow series, none of which are published. But if you're interested in being a beta reader for any of them, I'm always looking for that. So if you want to comment on one of my other videos saying you're interested in being a beta reader, I think I'm going to start a beta round again up soon. I just have to get it all on the website that I used before, which worked really well for me. I think it was just called Beta Books. And yeah, so if you comment on one of the videos I posted today that you're interested in being a beta reader for any of the things I just talked about, it's a whole 9-book series. So I would love it if people want to help me out and make sure my stories aren't as bad as I feel like they are sometimes.
Your writing's fine. Okay, so with my plotting, I need to talk about myself, even though you're the popular one here. I need to select which events to incorporate and actually just like draw the plot line between things, because I have just a very stereotypical opening in mind right now, where it's just it's the kid without powers in the world of powers, which is very overused. But specifically, I have a world of monsters where people are like, there's different ranked monsters, and then each individual person is ranked based on how, like, what level of monsters they can kill. And so I know that my main character is like one of the few powerless people, but then there's also the like rank 0, like the rank 1 person, no one knows what his power is. No one knows how he's able to kill all of these huge monsters. And other ones are appearing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have all of these different ideas about different scenes that I want to incorporate in different characters and interesting things like black market things and special really cool weapons where like a person's soul can be infused in a weapon to make it more powerful. And so you have to like align with your weapon and like select the right weapon and things, but have all these ideas and no actual like meat of the story where the characters are actually going through emotional change.
Well, did you know where you want it to end?
I have a vague idea of where I want it to end. You know, just big climactic battle stuff.
Okay, but what changed?
Without giving away the plot, though, it's hard to talk about. So
then how are we supposed to plot things without giving away the plot?
You can plot things without giving away the plot. Like, I want you to do time travel things in your book because I think it would be a fun way to.
That's what I was saying. Like, I have a reason why I've thought of that and thought maybe not that.
Okay.
Because I really hate it when stories do that. And then it was all for naught thing. Like, oh, and then they time traveled back and fixed it, or they time traveled back and changed some things, so now we have no idea what happened. I don't like that sort of.
No, I don't think you should do that.
Okay, but if they're running around in all the scenes with the other objects, what would the point be?
Continuous timeline, where they're just trying to collect the object immediately after it was used.
But then that would alter, because like some objects are used over and over again. Like, at which point would they want to collect the pen that has existed in all of the books? Like
in the very last one.
But the very last one, you just give it to them. He has it. One of the characters has it that isn't hiding it from anyone. Like that, like, I don't know.
So that's an easy one.
Because I think that going back in time to try to take the objects out before they caused problems would be a really interesting attempt in which he could travel through all of the books, which would be really fun for a last book.
Yeah, it would be.
But then there's the issue of I would have to try to make some story frame in which, even though they collected them in the past, it doesn't alter the present.
Okay.
But that's not how time works. If you go back in the past and you change things.
That's just getting into alternate reality theory.
But I don't.
Isn't that what you love?
No. I wrote one time travel book and it was hard. I don't want to. Because I think that's a cool idea. I would just not want to, because the objects did shape the story so much. If they were just to have been plucked out of existence in the past, like every single thing about how the world's set up now would change.
I see. Okay. So
I'm gonna write a book about how much I love my cat.
Okay.
Oh, we're just live streaming. We're not recording or podcasting. I mean, I guess it's kind of a podcast. I don't know. What?
Because I have my mic, so it looks like we're fancy.
No, we were just live streaming talking about.
The mic is connected to my laptop for my YouTube channel where I talk about writing.
Yeah, so I'm kind of guest starring on his YouTube channel.
I'm basically just interviewing him because he just has to talk about himself all the time.
Well, you don't want to say anything about your book because you don't want to mess up the...
No, it's not that. What are you trying to do? What are you doing?
Felix is going to cut you guys.
Oh no.
With the claw trimmers.
Yeah.
Cut your head off, ready?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Good job, Fief.
Good job.
I guess when I say that I don't know where to start with my novel because I have too many ideas about what I want to do with it.
So you have to pick what you're going to do.
Yeah. I have to pick where to start and then like the journey I want to take the characters on.
Which, like, what main change do you want your main character to go through then?
I know that I want the character to realize that he does have, in a way, a power, and it's like his ability to like his kindness and his like ability to talk with people and help other people get stronger.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's one of the things like
throughout the last couple of years, the times when I've enjoyed myself the most and enjoyed interacting with other people is when I was like helping them plan and lift them up. And I feel like right now I could really passionately write about that, about like writing from the point of view of a cute, meek character who's just trying to help everyone else out, but keeps feeling like he's in the way and screwing up.
Oh.
But then his power is his ability to like uplift people.
That's cute.
Yeah. And I wrote this whole like pilot thing, which I pitched to my writing class when I came up with this idea whenever I was in college still. That was a couple years ago, I guess. But I never really finished it. And there's a whole scene that I think is funny and that the whole class enjoyed. So it actually is funny where they're trying to defeat this huge monster that's coming to destroy the town. And one of the characters uses his powers to turn this like wolf demon into a corgi. And this corgi can talk, but is very disgruntled and edgy the whole time. And it seems like everyone enjoyed this character throughout the pilot that I wrote for them. My pre-book beta, I guess. So incorporating a character that can incorporating the scenes that I have planned around this character is primarily what I'm going to be trying to plot.
Okay. Around the dog?
No, but around characters.
Character.
I want to write around character development because World War Marlowe and In the Hush, the two novels that I'm kind of finished with, are both plot driven, and so the characters, every time that I've rewritten the book, the characters themselves have been the primary thing to change. And I'd rather have a book where it is the character's journey that matters more than just the like back of the book blurb, because that's what actually carries me through a novel. Yeah.
Character driven.
Yeah.
We like people. Even
Your books are character driven, right?
Yes.
Would you say?
Well, I mean, they have plot, but
They
the
definitely-
thing that is the most, to me, the most compelling thing is the characters' journeys. In the books where that has not been the case, those have been the ones I've struggled to write more. That's why the first book that I wrote in this series was the easiest to write, was because Till Death was just almost entirely character driven, except the weird things that happened occasionally, because there was really no plot other than the main character falling in love with the secondary character. And there's some nonsense that happens along the way, but the whole main purpose was them falling in love and beating the like homophobic oppressiveness of their hometown. But the more recent ones I've written, like Graveyard Shift, I tried to make it more plot driven, and it went wrong like 4 times. And then I tried to make it more character driven, and that was a struggle too, because that character had literally no emotions, and that was the point. And that's a hard person to write a character driven story by, especially a romance. So, but I did it. He got his emotions back. They're in love now, I guess.
Yay.
So yeah, character driven is a good way to go, I think. And so really deciding where you want this character to begin and end emotionally, like how you want him to start and what you want him to work on, and his shortcomings that come to light. Like that thing that I always thought was interesting. I could never really apply it to my characters, but what's one thing they would never do, and what's the situation in which they would do it?
What's something they'd never do, never say, and never think? Those are the 3 that I always use to create like drama and plot and things. Yeah, scary plot. So I know that I love that my one comment is just, "Are you gay?"
Oh.
Yeah. Yes,
Hello.
we are gay, but not a couple.
No, my boy's in the other room.
We're definitely not a couple. We just like to mess with Felix.
Oh, you like the Furbies. They like your Furbies, Felix. Yeah, we have the 2 spooky Furbies up there. One's a witch and one's a wizard. Yeah. Yep. They have names that escape me. They have names. They all have names.
Okay.
Are you gay?
Are you gay?
Like hundreds of comments that I haven't been able to read. I'm so sorry.
Everyone likes Tyne more than me, so I just hang around
Well,
him.
I have more.
But I'm lucky because I get to be his best friend, so I get his humor and his stories all the time. So
I'm sorry that the book got sent back. Is your name Little Trash Rat? I can't read it from here. Return to sender. Was that an Amazon issue? Because I don't know, but I will reorder it. I appreciate your determination. I'm sorry that Amazon's been a problem for you. Okay. I read
Okay.
comments.
Yep. The cat bounds. Come back, Nan.
My cat's a good man. His name is Ferdinand.
Ferdinand.
Then there's Howard.
Who's over there?
Howie. He's just over there being a lion.
So I like to not have a ton of different places in my book. I like to have the characters always come back to a home base. What about you?
I've never really thought of that.
No? Because
No.
I guess that's from my film background, is like, what is the least amount of sets that I have to build?
Well, like, I agree. I understand that. And I've just never thought of it in that way. Like, because I guess they do often have a home base they come back to,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's their literal evil lair or their house or whatever else have you, whether it's their castle or their
Yeah.
apartment. But that's not something I've actively put thought into, but I suppose they do always end up. And in this case, it would be the White Abyss. It would be
The White Abyss, okay.
the Witch Abyss is where he would end up coming back to, because that's where Nox is trapped, and he has to. They have to be in the same place often enough for them to fall in love. So that's another problem I have, is that they don't have a romantic arc either,
Okay.
which is a problem. I have nothing.
See, my characters just always end up falling in love. I'm never like, these characters are going to fall in love.
If only it were that easy for me.
The cat bounced away.
Give me Howie.
Um,
Howie. A couple of you guys have drawn Howie.
my TikTok, I guess I have more than one TikTok now, is of Howie being really stupid.
Howie's silly. And Ferdinand's eating, otherwise I would hug him.
Yep.
Do you guys like my ghost? It's a ghost light. I like it a lot. Oh no, I just ruined her. There we go. I like it. It's cute.
It's been perfectly centered in your frame the whole time, so that we can promote our Snapchats.
No, it's not a Snapchat ghost. It's just a ghost.
I know that I want my character to start out on. I've rewritten the scene a couple of times where, in some versions he has no memory, in other versions he does, but he starts out on an island for kids without powers or kids that need to be separated from the mainland for whatever reason, troublemakers, and he keeps sneaking in to try to get information about where his parents is one version, and just different information different times. And once I figure out what he's actually trying to get and what his main character arc is, then it's going to be really easy for me to figure out what information he's trying to steal. But I know that I built up this whole community around him and kind of like showed like this is where he built his skills and his knowledge and things. And I want him to kind of at the false climax, or like the pit of despair where the characters are all sad and everything's awful and I'm never going to win. Then he returns back there and then they're like, oh, but you've always made us so like uplifted and like helped us with so many plans. And then they're going to like raise him back up and then he'll go out and defeat the big baddie. And that's
Cool.
about as much of a plot as I have, as I know that I want him to return there. I have a plot written out, but it doesn't have any emotional arc to it at all. That's why I haven't just sat down to write it.
Well,
Yeah.
somebody just asked what can happen to characters to make them grow. Whether that is a general question for your own writing or specific to us, I'm unsure.
To make a character grow, character arcs are really fun and difficult to write.
Yes, I think that.
I think your cat's eating my laptop.
No.
Oh, nope, he's not.
No, that's not a thing you eat.
What you eating?
This.
What you eating,
The
little
thing
boy?
he was afraid of last night.
What you eating, little boy?
Yep.
Cat. For me, the things that I often do to my characters to make them grow as people is have everything they thought they knew, like have them be super sure in themselves up to a certain point in time in the story, like they think they're working towards. We refer to it as the false climax. It's a story structure that's really prevalent in the Marvel movies, and I think it's really interesting. And Ferdinand wants to be a
Nan.
star. Yes. And
Agility.
I really like the false climax where I guess it also can be considered like the pit of despair, whatever else.
Dark Night of the Soul.
Dark Night of the Soul. But it's where they think they have everything figured out and then everything falls apart. And I think my favorite device for character development is the ability to... Yes.
Yep.
There's
Good
Felix
job.
being a goblin. The ability to rebound from losing everything, the adaptability or the resilience that a character has to develop, because it's that point where they win, because they fail, right? And it's whether they get back up or they don't. And I have characters who've never been narrators who didn't get back up. And that was a really defining moment for their character because it shows where their agency lies in their lives. And so if you're a narrator, though, you have no choice. You got to get back up. That's how it goes, is that no matter what happens, you always got to get back up. And so
be the narrator of your life and get back up.
So like for Algernon's Anomaly, as an example, the very first line of this book is...
The very first thing I do whenever I read a book is I read the last line and then I go back and read it from the beginning.
It's once upon a time I knew everything. And that's a lot of this character's thing, is that the only thing he knows, the only stable thing in his world is what he thinks he knows. And so, because he comes from a troubled background, and his thing is that he knows everything, and that he knows what's best, he knows what's right, he understands stuff. And so that's the quality of him that's called into question a lot through the books, is that because it's a book about realizing ghosts are real, and a lot of people don't think they're real. And so for him, it was a big, it's calling the reality he held so close to himself into question, and the things he'd convinced himself into question. And so when that falls apart, he learns to manage that. And it's just well, I guess I didn't know everything about that, but now I know everything about this other thing. And so then he's really sure about that he knows exactly what he's doing is right. And then he ends up doing the exact wrong thing in every possible way, and causes a lot of problems with that too. And then eventually has to come to terms with sometimes he doesn't know everything objectively, but he knows himself, and that he can work with that. So the big climactic event is not necessarily a big fight. It's a big personal battle where he knows that he knows himself the most, as opposed to all of these other things he thought he knew. And so then the very last line, though, is because trust me, you don't know everything. And it's his arc between being a super sure 16-year-old that he knows everything to having that fall apart multiple times, to the point where he just kind of comes to terms with sometimes you don't know everything, and that's okay, but you can know yourself if you work on yourself or whatever. And so he grew, though, through his main trait being continually called into question and ripped down and built back up and redefined. And so I like to have a core trait that a character has to deal with.
I don't have a core trait, but I do have a core belief in all of my characters. They believe one specific thing, and then throughout the novel, I just completely destroy them. And I love creating scenes that destroy characters. It's my favorite thing. I love destroying people and abusing people like Tyne. And then when those characters get back up, they're always different. They're always stronger. I have my main character, Marlowe, who believes that he's just a ball of piss and vinegar. He's just an obnoxious teenage boy who feels the need to prove himself, even though he is not emotionally ready for what he wants to do, which is control, take the highest seat of power and position in this alternate world called Merc. And then he is engaged to a boy, an arranged wedding, when this boy is from the slums, and the world is both homophobic and has a physical wall in between the lower class and the upper class. This novel I started writing about 5 or 6 years ago. Oh, it's been actually a lot longer than that. I've been saying 5 years for like 4 years. So it's I started writing a long time ago, and over the course of the book, Marlowe has to come to terms with his arranged marriage with Quinn, even though he's been trying to get rid of him. And he also has a lot of emotional growth he needs to go through, but he's a emotionally repressed character that just lashes out and does everything through violence and anger. So, yeah, it's fun to write. I like to write really characters that are very stuck in their ways and have a very strong personality trait, and then have them change.
I'm gonna eat your Brussels sprouts.
You can eat my Brussels sprouts because I ate almost all of the frosting with a spoon this morning. So you can eat my veggies. Felix is over there harassing us. Oh no, he's really harassing us. Now he's throwing things.
How many Furbies do you have, Felix?
24.
24 is the answer to your question
You
about
want to see more of
Furbies.
them?
You could place them behind us if you want, but
Which ones do you want?
all of them.
All of them?
I want Pear.
Yeah, I'll get there first.
Pear's the
This
best
is-
one.
This is
It'll just be a good background activity.
okay.
So I hope that answered your question. I don't remember who asked it because they were so.
Uh-huh.
The Furbies are in costumes. Those came with costumes. I wish Felix would come on the screen. Yeah, me too. But he's
He
too
won't.
self-conscious to come join us.
I look enough like Felix.
From
right?
behind, it's really difficult to tell these two apart. I live with 3 tall, lanky, dark-haired boys now, and so it's difficult to tell Jasper, Felix, and our other roommate Kyle apart. So I'm just the one who has light hair and isn't tall. But yeah, they have to be farther over this way for them to see them. But this is Pear. She has a bow. I love her. She has a necklace. She's a 2005. I love her. Kyle. Yeah, I know he has the meme name. It's really unfortunate. Poor Kyle. He's at work No, he's at school right
He's
now.
at school right now,
He's an engineering major. It's not a good time.
so he's always dying.
But I hope that answered your question. And someone else says they have a question. So if you have a question, you should ask it, and we'll see if we can answer. Somebody did ask about what kind of hat you're wearing.
Oh, I'm wearing my super cool Halloween hat. This is my favorite hat. I don't know, it has skulls on it, and feathers, and death. It's my hat.
I didn't clone Felix, but if you want to put him up there, they could probably actually see him better up by the door.
My name's Jasper. Hello. I just started TikTok, and I have a YouTube channel. If you're new to the live stream,
They say they love your hat.
thank you. I've had people offer to buy this hat off of me several times. I will never sell this hat. Everyone loves this
Yeah,
hat.
and then you need to. Well, this computer it needs to be closer to the eel head for us to see it on my phone. There you go. We can see that one, but that's
Yep.
the only one.
Yep.
The one with the So Felix is decorating. Okay. Today, me and my mom smelled eggs. We were confused.
What?
So we checked.
It's ghost questions.
And,
Ghost
Wasn't
questions.
well, if you smell sulfur, though, you guys should probably not like that. Could be a gas leak. That's actually dangerous. Yeah, I would definitely call.
Do you want me to end the
Electric.
writing stream and we can turn this into a ghost stream?
There's only so much ghost things I can do when I'm not in the location.
But
though.
I can talk about ghost things. You can talk about ghost things.
Oh my god, her foot just fell off.
Oh, it does that.
What were you saying?
This one's yours.
Oh yeah, that's mine because it looks like Felix. This one looks like Felix. So
Yep.
That's not all of them, but it's many of them.
well, here's some Furbies now.
Yep.
So we have some friends. Well, do you guys have any other book related or writing related questions? Since Nano starts tomorrow.
It's hot in here.
Let's get hot. Do you want to make sure the heater's turned off?
Yeah, because my bed is directly in front of the heater.
Hey, you want to know what Howdy found? You want to know what he found?
Your hamster?
No, it's the mints.
Oh
The
no.
mints. And guess what Howard smells like?
Mint.
Mint. Which means, what do you think Howard got into?
Mint.
The mints.
Yep.
Felix's cat likes mints. Tell Felix I love all of his Furbies.
I love all of my Furbies too. I love them. There's more of them.
There are more, but we have Furbies. We have some friends.
Let's talk about ghost stuff.
'Cause it's Halloween.
Yeah.
Did you not like our writing conversation? What's it
I
going?
just think that we can't carry that on very long. It's hard to plot
It is hard to
with
plot.
another person.
We can plot together.
Well, yeah, but I don't know. Usually I do most of my plotting without you, and I just yell at you about it.
Oh.
Why can't I do any of the things I want to do?
Spoopy. Well, there was a question earlier. I don't know if that person is still with us, but they were asking about EMF detector recommendations.
So I'm gonna turn off my laptop then,
Oh, okay.
because
Are you getting-
it's gonna overheat. So thank you for anyone who joined us on this live stream.
on the
this
laptop.
is-
We're gonna stay on.
Yeah, we're
TikTok.
staying on this. This is Mr. Alarming. Buy his book. It's in the description.
You can get my book on Amazon.
Yep, that's the Amazon links in the description.
Okay, well, so we're gonna stay on
Industry.
TikTok.